So, got one of these here. TWOSUN. It's in a box. We want to get it out of there. We want to check it in so we can check it out. Let's get going. Okay. This is the TWOSUN TS 375, and it is a okay, sorry. Yeah, it's a TS 375, and it's really hard to get out of the bag. How about that? But it is oily, and it is an access lock. All right. Yeah, pretty cool. Hey, let's get this oil off it, and we'll clear the space. Let's get into it. And yeah, of course I'm going to take it apart. Why not? I want to see what's going on in there. Ooh, this MICARTA already, I like it. That is some nice stuff right there. Pocket clip is short. I mean, yeah, so you know, you do that initial rub down and you kind of get a feel for everything. All right, let's see what's going on. Okay. How about it? Yeah. Okay, lots of tension there. Which, you know, you don't want any of this weak. Okay. This is heavy duty. So I can tell you right away is that just the feel of this and how everything's functioning, it's very heavy duty. Nice milling, MICARTA, TWOSUN on the side versus billboarding on the blade. TS 375 and D2. I don't see a designer logo. Maybe it's on the inside there. Nice stonewash blade instead of that satin. Yeah, it's pretty cool. I don't mind the satin on the certain knives, but yeah. Well, that spring is no joke. This here, the tension on that spring is legit. Okay. Well, hey, let's get into it. Let's open it up and see what's going on in there. How about that? No Loctite. So far, we got all TH, and it looks like we're gonna stick with it, at least for disassembly. I think that's a T6 to get that scale off. But we'll see how oily that is in there to make a decision whether to do that or not. Okay, well that is is set in that micarta really, really well. That's not wanting to budge at all. There's actually a lot of spring in that clip, so that makes me happy. I feel like I'm making headway there. I feel like I've got a little movement going. But it is being stubborn. Let's try this. I'm going to put that screw back in, and I'm going to tap it down once I get a couple of threads in it. Just a couple of taps to see if I can get that screw to start coming out the back. That pin. I don't want to stab myself there. Yeah, oh, yeah, that's tight. It's got a lot of tension on that. Oh, but we got past pocket clip. So, yeah, that's milled down in there pretty good. Well, now that's free. So that's good. Let's pull that out. We should be able to get this apart here. Maybe we take that tension off that blade. Well, I guess let's keep going. See if we can get that up. This is going to be a disassembly video. Well, what's that video about? You're just taking a knife apart. I mean, it's coming apart one piece at a time. How about that? Something's telling me that that's what's holding me in, that the design of this knife is such that there's something else that's got to happen in order for me to get these scales apart. So let's see if I can't get this scale off and make better sense of what's going on here. I mean, it needed to come off, that's for sure. It is an oily mess under there. And I don't like leaving that oil behind scales because, of course, it eventually weeps out and gets all over the knife and your hands and your pocket. And so definitely want to get that off and clean all that up. There it is. It's challenging me here for sure. I guess I could take that spring off, and that would probably relieve a lot of this tension. You get my trusty mini lineman's pliers. These are pretty awesome. They're very capable tiny pliers. There we go. Take that side off. It is challenging me here for sure. I need to get that other spring off, but I can't get to it until I get this scale off. And there we go. All right, patience. Pivot pin. There's a lot of pieces and parts to this. There's a lot going on. Let's take this other spring free. There we go. All right. There it is in its glory, completely taken apart. Lots of wiping now. I think for the sake of time, I'm going to wipe all this down. I'm going to pause it, and then bam, we'll be back. Okay, so I wiped it all down and I worked on it a little bit. I'm probably 20 minutes to back to this spot. So I saved you 20 minutes of your life. You probably would want to watch it, but honestly, it's just a ton of trial and error and trying to make pieces fit and finagle them. You need 4 hands, but you only got 2, and so it's a piece of work. And I would tell you that if you are wanting to take this on and take this knife apart, be ready for the gauntlet, because this isn't for the novice. I mean, honestly, I have taken a lot of knives apart, and so I'm not saying you are a novice. I don't know you, so I mean, you may be an absolute pro and step to this task like nobody's business. But I can tell you that it has challenged me. Like I say, I'm probably 30 minutes in from disassembly to getting back to this point, and I'm not done yet. So I brought you in so that you could at least see me kind of try to wrap it up. And I do think I'm close, but I'm going to let the knife be the judge of that. I'm not sure that it's going to let me get away that easy. We'll see. There's 2 springs. They have a lot of tension on these springs. I thought about taking some tension out of them, but it's kind of something that I don't want to do right out of the gate. I think what I would rather do is run the knife, work the knife, and see if my opinion changes on the knife through a little bit of time, because it can loosen up. I definitely cleaned it up a bunch, and so the action could be improved, and everything could be lined up to where I didn't need to do it. So it's not something that I just want to arbitrarily jump in there and do. I want a specific, if I'm going to do that, it's because I'm specifically thinking, yeah, I need to change that. So, yeah, I mean, 30 minutes apart, clean up, put it back together. I don't feel too ashamed about that. Um, but I've taken numerous axis locks apart. So I will say the way that this one's built, I mean, out of all the axis locks that I've taken apart, this one, with the heaviness of the titanium, the tension on those springs, I mean, it's up there with. I wouldn't want this to be the first axis lock that I ever dove into. Like I say, the tension on the spring has something to do with that. The design of how they've got it all put together. I mean, they're all kind of the same, but this one's a little different. So be forewarned. I mean, I encourage you to do it, because even if you get stuck, just don't force anything. And man, there's enough resources to get back and figure out how to get it back together. So I'm always up for a challenge like that. I mean, I don't watch videos prior to doing these things. I just do them. And then if I get super stuck, you know, I'm not saying that I'm too proud to go look at a video, because I'm not. I will. But my first inclination is to go for it. Let's just get it apart and see what's up. Yeah, so I mean, I think it's running better now. Definitely smoother. Yeah. It's a bulky, kind of a heavy duty. It's definitely over 5 ounces. I don't know if it's much over five, but it's definitely big. The action, I mean, it's drop shut, drop open. When those two sides of that axis pin are pulled to the rear, there's no tension on that blade whatsoever. It's free floating on bearings, and yeah, so the action is wonderful on this knife. The thumb deployment's really strong. The Spidey flick, it's these thumb studs are really prominent, so it's easy to figure out how to do both of those. Now, of course, I'm struggling, but I think my hands are tired from manipulating all that. Yeah, so grip, you know, I personally would definitely not call this a self-defense knife. A work knife, a daily EDC knife, to put in some, work, I don't know, trimming wires or whatever you're going to do. Yeah, can you get forward? There's a spot right here that's actually angle beveled that the finger sits pretty good on. Then you get this jimping, and there's a platform with the two thumb studs. So there's a spot here that, you can, whatever. And yeah, so you got some grips. There's no hot spots in this. Everything is milled smooth. And I mean, look at the milling on a pocket clip. There it is. Yeah, really nice. Same thing on the knife. And of course, there's Night Morning's design logo. It's on the side of the knife. I was talking about it earlier. I couldn't see it. It wasn't on the blade, which is good. I mean, yeah, put it here. It actually looks pretty good there. There's a lanyard spot built in with that backspacer there. Pretty cool. Let's check the pocket clip. It looks like it's going to be good, and I've sprung it a few times, so I think it's flexible, but let's see. Yeah, I mean, woo, that wasn't good. So what it did was it caught the lock. Yeah, I think it was because I was pressing down here. So if it was just in your pants, I think you're fine. Yeah, that was me. On a thinner material, yeah, it's butter. Butter on the thinner pants. It's struggling just slightly on this big triple seam here, but not much. Actually, the more I do it, it's getting better. So yeah, the pocket clip's cool. Safety, let's check it out. Yeah, no contact here. I can't catch it. Golly, man. And sure enough, the backspacer's good, but this tip right here is completely sticking out there and grabbing my finger. So if this was in your pocket and you reach down on this side of the knife, that tip is right there, man, and it will cut you. Let's see. Yeah, it's right there. And so if you reach down here, I mean, I'm getting that tip all day long. Yeah, so this passes. No contact on the back side here. The pocket clip is cool. It's nice. It's milled. It functions. Runs well. But this tip will cut you, man. It's dangerous. So danger, danger. Watch out. I mean, I don't mean a little bit. I mean that is. I mean it's right there. So if that's down in your pocket like this, and you reach behind that for any reason, you're catching that tip and it will slice you. So that's a fail. Price, I paid $150 for it. Man, it's in hot demand. So when they come out, I mean, you got to want one. You got to want it bad, because there's collectors that are snatching them up, and like me. I don't think I'd have went too much higher than 150, and as a matter of fact, I missed out on some of these because I kind of set my number. This is one of those, I'm not trying to snipe it. I'm setting a number and going, well, if I can steal it at 2 in the morning at that price, I'll take it. And this one it lofted off at $150, but these are going for well over $200. Availability, I don't see any available anywhere. Now, White Mountain Knives was carrying this knife for $99. And so with a 10% discount, you could have got this knife for $90. Now, they're sold out, and it doesn't surprise me, because I'm sure that everyone they had went pretty quick. Definitely a collector's piece at this point. TWOSUN collectors are going to want them in their collection for sure. And I did enough that I spent $150 on it. But does it cut? Let's see if it cuts. I mean, I'm going to say it's got a burr. Yeah, I mean, it cut that pretty darn good, didn't it? Yeah. Sometimes it's just the way you hold this thin paper, man. If you hold it in the wrong way, it'll hang up, and then you think, well, that knife's terrible. So, yeah, it's sharp. I could pause the video and strop it, but it's plenty sharp. I'm positive that it'll shave hairs. It's that kind of sharp. It's just on this paper, if it's at the wrong angle, I mean, it's super sticky edge. Let's see if I can show that edge. Yeah, I mean, it's very even, nice cut, great point, which all TWOSUN edges come that way. Yeah, so there it is. The TWOSUN 375 axis lock. It's the only one that I'm aware that they have. And it runs nice. It's good in the hands, comfortable. It's not a self-defense knife, in my opinion, but it definitely could be an EDC knife. You could carry it every day and use it to work. For what I paid for it and the stature that it has for my collection, I don't think it's going to see any work. I may carry it a day or two just so that it's officially a knife in my collection, but I don't have any intentions of putting the work on it, that's for sure. If you saw this knife in my collection 10 years from now, it would probably look exactly like this one. So I'm one of those guys. Guys want it and they want to use it, and then guys like me collect them and put them in a case somewhere. But TWOSUN 375 in D2 with brown micarta, titanium, and yeah, that's it. I appreciate you watching. Thanks.